Welcome to No Stigma. Welcome to No Stigma,
Hey, how
girl.
are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you're here.
Yes, girl.
So,
Mhm.
I like to start the podcast with a well-being check-in
Okay.
and just to give us space, like a moment for us to sort of just check in with ourselves, where we at right now.
Yeah.
Like, how's your heart feeling today? How's your mind feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Feeling
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I'm feeling good today. Yeah.
Okay. How's your week been so far?
A week has been really busy,
Mm.
just studying. Yeah, just busy, being a mum. And yeah,
And this is what we're going to be talking about today, actually. So, I really wanted to discuss autism.
okay.
Yeah. And as for some of us know that autism is a neurodevelopmental
Yeah.
condition and it's on the spectrum. So
Yeah.
it depends on the severity of each person.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to speak about autism in particular is to break the stigma that people have around autism. Because usually when people think about autism, they usually tend to go towards the deeper part of the spectrum.
Mm.
With the, children or adults who are nonverbal or have much more severe needs, where autism is literally a spectrum, right? It's diverse. So there's so many people that walk day to day that we will never know that have autism, for example, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to sort of one kind of like explore that a little bit because, for example, you know, I've worked with people who had autism, for example,
Yeah.
and that were in really great positions at work. And autism could just literally be, it's basically how people's brains works. Everyone has their brain works completely different, right? My brain works different from your brain, and that is in a way what autism is how people kind of take information in, how they process information, how they respond to society, or how they respond to things in general, right? And like I was saying, I've worked with people that work colleagues that had autism, but you never like know, you
Yeah.
never really know. And I remember two of my work colleagues. One of them, for example, he was like a senior working in social services, for example, and he didn't like to be in a busy office
Yeah.
because the noise and the busyness sort of overwhelmed him. So he preferred to work alone
Yeah.
and just be in his space by himself because that's the way that he was functioning. That's the
Yeah.
way that he liked to give himself that space to process information and so forth. And I remember how he affected him when he had to move into the big office. And, he became very overwhelmed and anxious. So those are the little things that, people don't see that is on the spectrum of autism, for
Yeah.
example. And I remember working with someone else as well. And, she was very blunt when she spoke. And
Yeah.
she came across sometimes quite rude.
Yeah.
But to her, it was almost like it was black and white to a certain extent. And sometimes she wasn't aware, didn't have that level of self-awareness to see what she was saying, how it came across.
Yeah.
And even with banter, for example, is not picking up on certain social cues
Yeah.
and understanding banter and sarcasm at times.
Yeah.
And these are such subtle little things that people that have autism, for example,
Yeah.
because it's so, like I said, the spectrum is so broad, right? But one of the things that I feel that we don't touch on or talk more on is parents who actually have autistic children or carers that have autistic children, for example, and parents who have maybe children that are now adults, for example. We There's a lot of emphasis on people that do have um, autism, but there is not enough on the carers and the parents, and how does that affect a parent and a carer. So my question to you really is, um, for a mum who has an autistic child, um, what was your journey in terms of even from the very beginning when you actually found out? And yeah, how did I, how, it's really your perspective on it and your journey.
So when I had my firstborn, it was like natural birth. Everything
Mhm.
was fine, and then I noticed certain things that he wasn't beating certain targets.
Mhm.
For his age, for example, like he wasn't talking; he was more like babbling.
Okay.
Um, eye contact, he's more looking away, and the jumping up and down. I noticed things like that, so I did book an appointment with the doctors. I was like,
How old was he when?
I noticed this when he was like 11, 12 months.
Okay, so
Yeah,
quite early on
quite
then.
early. Yeah, I
Okay.
noticed from early. And then I contacted the GP and I said, I'm a bit concerned about my son. He's not doing certain things, and he just said to me, "Oh, boys they take a long time to deliver to a
Oh, is
certain
that what they were
skills."
saying? Okay.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
said, "No, no, no, something's not right because I looked after kids, I looked after my siblings and my cousins, everything. You just know certain stages." And I said, "No, my son's not doing something." I I asked him for like a speech and language therapist.
Okay.
Um, he was like going back and forth with me. Said no, he's too young, and I was getting very agitated. I said no, he's not talking, and I'm very concerned. At the end, he booked the speech and language therapist. Went there. Still no talking.
How long did it sort of take you? So you said 12 months
Uh,
when you
yeah.
initiated.
So it took like the time he was like maybe 1.5, like
Okay.
getting towards 2. Um,
So that's quite a while
it's quite well.
from the time that you
Yeah, quite a word.
initiated
Because he was
at
like
one
saying
years.
more like single words, but
Mm-hmm.
not sensitive, like long words. It
Mm,
wasn't. It wasn't quite long. It's till I went to. I think I went to Portugal with one of my
okay.
friends, and then he was saying more words. And I said, "Oh, okay, maybe
Mm,
maybe it's a late speech delayed or
speech, yeah,
something."
yeah.
But still, there still was certain things I noticed that it still wasn't making things right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the time, I was pregnant with my second son,
Okay.
and obviously, one of the speech therapists said, "You know what? Let me book for you to go and see this autistic
Specialist.
specialist
Okay.
just to see." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think my son's got it." He's like, "Let's just see. You just never
Mm,
know. There's no harm in trying." At the
mm,
time, when that happened, I was heavily pregnant. Um, after I gave birth to my second son, I had a letter. I got a letter after I
mm,
gave birth, asking me to come for the session. So I had to wait for like maybe a couple of weeks because I just given birth. I think on the third week, I went there with my newborn baby, and with Eli and his dad. We went there and they was doing some tests, asking him questions. At the time, Eli has a photographic memory. That's what they
mm,
noticed, that he's
mm.
very good at that. And I think after the session, that's when they told me that yeah, Eli's got autism. I
Mm,
was like,
mm. So you didn't even know what
no, I
autism
knew
was
there
at that.
was
What did you
something.
think autism was before? Like, what was, and be honest, because a lot of
Um,
times we don't know. That's the whole point. That's the reason why we
I
are.
I didn't. I knew it was a disability,
Okay.
but I didn't know how deep it was.
Mm,
So I had to do some research on that,
mm-hmm,
and the doctors they gave me like leaflets and they gave me like classes for me to go to,
mm-hmm.
for me to learn about more about autism. So when I was reading, I was like, okay, I
But
get it.
when you first heard that,
My heart sank.
okay.
I'm not gonna lie,
Mm,
my heart sank.
and
I don't-
what was you thinking? What was that
Um,
feeling?
the first thing I was thinking, how am I gonna cope?
Okay.
I just got a newborn baby.
Mm-hmm,
How am I gonna cope with a child that got special needs?
mm-hmm,
Um, there was so much things going in my mind. Um, it's so weird. I'm thinking about the future as well. Even though he's young,
mm, mm,
I'm thinking about the future. Like, is he gonna be okay? What happens if I die? He's gonna look after him. Because I didn't know how bad it was at the time because he was still little.
mm-hmm.
So all these things was in my head, and um, yeah, it was a lot. I literally had to sacrifice and stop. whatever I had to do with my life, like going back to work or whatever, I had to stop and focus on him. So it went to the point that I had to get a whiteboard, like basically be a teacher and teach Eli everything. And at the time I was like, no, I have to be a bit tough on him. That I have to give him that tough love. But I love him. I have to give him that tough love because the world outside is not very nice. So I have to give him that for him to.
And when you say tough love, what does that look like in a sense? Because that can be interpreted in different ways. So this is why I'm bringing that. So when you're saying tough love, where you had to make sure, because okay, it's going to be difficult outside. And
just not to like baby him. I have to treat him like he's like a normal kid. I'm not going to treat him like he's different. I want him to feel like he's still the same person. I don't want him to feel like, oh, why mum treating me different from other kids?
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? So I have to treat him the way I would treat Joel.
I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
I get it.
So, that's the kind of love I had to give him, even though it was quite difficult for him because obviously his learning pattern was different. So
did you have to adapt to his learning?
I had to, of course, I had to get Macathons and everything, do storytelling and stuff, do a lot of reading, which helped him as well. Since I've done it, that took like about, I'm not gonna lie, like about 7 years.
Okay.
The sacrifice I did, like stop at home, do work with him, do extra classes with him. Like when he finished from school, I do work with him like over an hour and two. Since I've done all that, Eli has done so well. Like literally, like he's so clever. Like in maths.
Yeah, we're gonna go there and we're gonna touch on that. We're definitely gonna touch on that as well. For you, in terms of, because you said that you had to give up a lot, right? Because obviously now you've got a young child, right? A younger child, and then your first child is a child that you felt like he had. And what in terms of like this severity of how does he present his autism? What are the needs that he presents? Before I even go into the next question, what are the needs that he presents? So, because he's verbal?
He's verbal. He can talk. He can communicate. He can tell you how you feel. The only thing he doesn't like is probably like loud noises.
Okay.
If he's in a place where there's full of people, he gets a bit of anxiety.
Okay.
So he has these like fidget toys that keeps him calm.
Okay.
If it's too overwhelming, he said, "Mummy, it's too much. I want to go home."
Okay. So it's noise.
Yes, noise, overcrowded places.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like things like that.
Okay.
But other than that, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just more of the noise and the overcrowded places.
That makes him a bit anxious. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that obviously because of his needs, there was a lot of, you had to, like you said, parent the same but adapt to his way of processing and receiving information, right? And you mentioned about sacrificing, like obviously having to, not work the way that you used to work in order for you to kind of focus on raising your child in his crucial developmental age, I reckon, right? Yes. But for you yourself as a mother and as a woman, how did that impact your mental health?
You know what?
If it
at
did.
At that stage, I had to literally just close off about how I feel and focus on Eli.
Okay.
I just wanted him to be a better person, and then I focus on myself later. So what I do to help my mental health, I like.
But before we get there, so you just said I had to focus on my child and acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But let's go back to you. How was your mental health? You stopped, but how did you feel in that moment through that process where you had to almost like you said, you had to stop your life to a certain extent, which is not necessarily saying like it was a burden per se, but how, because sometimes it's good to actually name those feelings that we're feeling because it's normal, right? Do you feel like even when I'm saying, what do you feel when I'm saying this to you? Because I feel like you're like, there's resistance, almost like you don't want. You feel,
Uh,
was that guilt, like in
there was
saying,
guilt.
yeah, okay.
There was guilt.
Do you feel like naming how you feel sometimes makes it feel a bit? What's that? I'm sensing a bit of like,
Guilt.
what's that?
Oh man. It's
Mm,
deep.
mhm.
Mm,
Because it's a journey, so
yeah.
it's not necessarily where you are now, but it's where you were at one point. You know, because it's a we go through these roller coaster of emotions, right?
Mm,
So where was you at? Because you said I had to stop and just suppress whatever I was going through, suppress what I was feeling, and focus on my child. But let's talk about that. Let's bring that to the surface in terms of what was that. And is that something still that you're suppressing, or is it something that you're now trying to work on? And what is that?
um,
Can you name it? So I'm seeing that you're finding it difficult to name.
a little bit.
Yeah. Why is that?
I just obviously it's my journey. I just don't want maybe the judgment
Mm-hmm.
of how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
But it could be parents are feeling the same way that you're feeling.
I know.
Yeah. Or felt. You don't have to name if you don't feel comfortable, you don't
Mm,
have to. But even just acknowledging that.
yeah,
You don't want to name it right now,
yeah,
is acknowledging that.
yeah,
And I think sometimes without you even saying it, it's something heavy.
yeah,
And it's important that we actually having this conversation. This is really important because I hate the fact that I'm feeling this way. And I hate the fact that I was feeling that way
yeah,
because it's like, I'm not supposed to be feeling that. But who said you shouldn't be feeling that if
yeah,
you're human,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We're
yeah,
human. And sometimes we can be overwhelmed. Sometimes we can be like, oh, I wish that my child didn't have these challenges, for example.
yeah,
Not that to say that you wouldn't want your child in that sense, but sometimes we're like, "Oh, I wish my child never had these challenges, and
yeah.
maybe things would have been a bit
Maybe
much more
different.
easier,
Yeah,
and would have been a bit no different." And there's no shame in that per se, right?
yeah,
Um, and it's okay to say that, yeah, I struggled a bit, and I was feeling a bit like
yeah,
whatever that
yeah, yeah,
feeling that
yeah,
you don't want to
yeah,
name. And I like the fact that you actually acknowledge the fact that you said the word judgment.
mm, yeah.
And someone may be feeling that without you saying it, they know.
Then I, yeah,
They know. And may not want to name because they may also feel like, oh, I don't want to be judged because I'm supposed to be the super mummy and I'm
yeah,
supposed to be all of these things. But we are, you're a mother, you're a woman, you're a human,
yeah.
right?
Of course. And
Yeah.
obviously, when people see me like they want to be in the race card, obviously as a
Mm-hmm.
black woman, they see you as a black strong woman. You should just be able just to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can't. It's a lot. It can be very overwhelming.
Do you feel that there is more of a stigma in our community, especially um, how is it actually? Do you feel in terms of having a black autistic child within the black community, is there a difference in a sense, or even culturally, being aware, African
Yeah,
heritage?
yeah.
Do you feel like there's an understanding of that? Like, what is your experience
At
in
the
that?
beginning, no,
Okay, there was no
there was no
understanding.
understanding, especially in the culture,
Okay.
because they look at your child like, what's
Mm,
wrong with him?
okay.
You know, can't
Mhm.
you control your child? You
Mm,
know, so I kind of like isolate myself, and I won't go to certain events or
mm,
party because my son will get upset, he will scream. 'Cause them times he wasn't really talking, so he will more
mhm,
scream and
mhm.
roll on the floor. That's when I noticed that I feel like this is a bit overwhelming, so I didn't really take him to a lot of events and
Mm.
parties. isolated myself with
Mm.
him.
And how did
Yeah.
that feel?
Obviously I felt sad,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not his fault,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? I just get on with it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Do you think it's changed now as the years went
Now
by?
it's changed because now people starting to be aware of what autism is. At the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, no,
Mm-hmm.
it was difficult,
Okay.
especially when I'm going to like transports and buses and trains with my child.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a bit overwhelming.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling like people not understanding
People's not
their
understanding. People
behavior.
looking at me.
Mm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
control your child. And I look
Mm.
at me. I don't care. Me, I look at you back, and then you just turn your head. Yeah.
How do you now see autism? Like, how do you now see autism compared to how you saw it in the beginning? What's now your relation almost like to what it is?
How's it was like I don't see anything different in it because obviously I've got a child that's raised with
Mm-hmm.
autism. I just see it as everyone is special, everyone's in it with their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of broad now. A lot of people start to have a bit of understanding about it.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, people wasn't quite aware of it. So there was a lot of judge. But now it's quite open with just social media and,
Mm-hmm.
TV everywhere. People starting to be aware about it. So, I see it as like positive.
Okay. So for a parent that is being told today, right? You know, I think your child has autism. What would you say to that parent now?
I just told them, you know what, your child's got autism, but it's fine. Your child is special. Love your child, treat your child the same. Don't feel like embarrassed. You don't know what your child's gonna be in the future. Look at my child. If you see my child now, but he's playing piano. He's got
Let's talk.
photographic.
Let's talk about that. Actually, let's talk
Listen,
about that. Yeah. So
you
where
know.
is he now? Where is he?
So at the moment, like Eli's in year 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one of the tops when it comes to maths. He got like certificate, got the highest
Great.
grades, and
Hey.
he's very good at science,
Yeah.
music. That's his strength, and computering as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's doing really, really well. I'm just so proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week, he got a certificate for the top score in assembly
Mm-hmm.
because before you couldn't go in assembly. So now he
Mm-hmm.
goes in, and his little brother is there. So there's like, oh, Eli's got a certificate, he got the highest score, and Jamal's just started crying. He just
Oh,
started
that's
crying.
so
He's like,
sweet.
that's my brother. And I was like, oh, and he's like,
Oh.
I can't help myself. I'm so emotional. I can't help myself. I'm so proud of him,
Oh.
and that just made me feel like, Abigail, you've done it. You've done
Mm.
it. Like, you should be proud.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can just relax. Now I
Yeah.
can just woosah and
Mm.
think about myself now. Because now
Mm.
he's good.
Yeah.
He's good now.
Well done to
Like,
you.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so happy. Like, the sacrifice I did was a good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. And I would just tell parents, just don't give up. Just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Your child is special. You just never know what your child's going to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at Eli. I never thought in a million years. Look at him now.
Exactly.
He's doing so well.
And
So,
it's so interesting
yeah.
how you just made me think about you can't allow labels to define
No,
you.
of course not.
You can't allow labels to define you or your children, whoever. Because, like you said, sometimes labels, even though they're good things, because you learn, you understand, the needs, so you will be able to
Yeah.
get the support and be able to support that person, that child. However, I love that you didn't put him in a box, that you didn't define him. Okay, this is where your capacity is. Now
Yeah.
you can do and be whatever you want to be,
Yeah.
irrespective of, your needs,
Yeah.
right? Because like I said in the beginning, there's so many people doing
Yeah.
amazing
Of
things,
course.
even nonverbal,
Yes.
that
Yes.
do amazing
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but is nurturing and
Yes.
is, like you said, you help them find that you're coming into their world.
Exactly.
you're going into their world and, finding out and kind of like you said, following the pattern of
Yeah.
their learning,
Yes.
but at the same time, not putting that barrier
Yeah.
is okay, you're special, so you can only go this far. No, no, you're going to be like everyone
Yes.
else.
Yep. Yep.
And that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good as well because it push them as well, because if
Mm-hmm.
you put them in that box, they feel like they can't go further. So I just push Eli. I
Mm-hmm.
push him as
Mm-hmm.
much as I can, and I said, you can do anything you want if you
Mm-hmm.
just put your mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy is doing so well. He's doing so well.
So in terms of like also support, right?
Mhm.
Because a support network is massive, right? So it's important that we have a support network around us as well. Um, but outside like family and obviously friends, um, is there anywhere that you can get support if you feel overwhelmed, or because sometimes we don't know, like a lot of parents don't even know where to start, where to begin, if they feel overwhelmed, if they need any extra support. It's just like from your personal experience now, um if you had to give advice, further advice in terms of you know external support, where would people even begin, in a sense, or what you think,
Um,
anything that you can also
I
you
remember.
know.
I remember when Eli got autism. Um, say I was doing a course, and I
Mm-hmm.
met quite a few parents that
Mm-hmm.
was in the same journey as me,
Okay.
who their kids are a bit older. So we're talking to them, getting advice. You kind of have your own little community kind of thing,
Okay.
and we all just help each other out in a way.
Mm.
So there's this place that I take Eli, like when there's like half term and like 6 weeks holidays. It's
Mhm.
called Autistic
Okay.
Voice. So they got like, it's like a community where they take the children, you take the children there so you can have a little break for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of hours, and
Mm-hmm.
then they do like activities with them and stuff. So that's another way where you can get like support
Mm-hmm.
with the community as well, and more like talking to, like, sometimes the school as well. They may have some information that they can give to you as well. It just depends, you know, which helps as well.
Mm. Okay. So I heard GP, I heard school,
Yeah,
communities,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
And there's friends as well, because you
Mm-hmm.
may talk to a friend, may know another friend, and they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, have you got another friend that know
Mm.
this place? You should speak to this person. You should meet up." And that's how you just build
Your
each other,
community.
your
So it's
community.
so
Yeah,
you it's important to network
yeah.
then.
It's more
Okay.
networking.
Like
Yeah,
find that
yeah, yeah.
community.
Definitely, you can go on social media. There's a big platform that
Mm-hmm.
you can find. You can get a lot of support
Oh, that's
there. Yeah,
great.
it's really nice.
Is there anything that you feel like is important, either to highlight something that we haven't actually touched on, um, at all? Like that you feel like maybe it's important that we haven't? Yeah.
um, I would just say, you know, with your child, that like if your child's got autism, try and just, try and understand them and see what things that that they're good at, and just work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know my son's strengths and weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
so whatever his strengths is, I work on that harder, because
Mm-hmm.
I know the weaknesses one, you will find it quite difficult. So I know that piano, for example, he's got a photographic memory, so
Mm-hmm.
I know with that one he's gonna go far in that.
Mm-hmm.
And maths, I know he's gonna go far in that. So I try and my way to push it harder with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Try and just do a lot of activities with them. Just enjoy yourself with your child. I tell you, they're so special.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be so amazed of things that they come up with. It's just amazing. I'm telling you, these kids they're so clever.
Yeah.
They are. I don't even know what to say.
They are.
Yeah, they're bright.
Yeah.
They're bright. Yeah, they are. They're
Amazing.
amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
They are.
But yeah, it
Yes.
feels like time just went so quickly.
Gosh.
So this is like part of the episode where we sort of I encourage my guests to think about something that they want to leave in this
Okay.
space,
Mm.
and and then something that they want to gift themselves. And I always think, I really wanted to do this episode because I really want to highlight parents and carers.
Yeah.
Because it's important.
It's very important.
Because you are the one containing, you are the one holding. And sometimes that's just pushed, to the side.
Yeah.
So it is important for us, parents and, especially parents that have children that have, additional needs, to be like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes I need that help. Sometimes I'm actually really feeling really stressed. I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Like sometimes I just want time to just stop. Sometimes I don't want to deal with it. Sometimes I don't want to deal with it.
That's normal.
So in this space, I like to close, like I said, with us thinking about something that we just either been carrying it for the past week or month or even today into that space, and try to gift ourselves with something. So I'm going to kickstart. Okay. So I'm going to kickstart. So let me think. Something I want to leave in this space today. I don't know. For some reason, I feel there's like sometimes you may allow the impact that people might have, like people's energies may impact, and you might be holding the energy that you want to. I don't want to hold anything that doesn't belong to me. So any energy that's not mine, that's being projected onto me, I just want to leave that in this space. I don't want to carry it. It doesn't belong to me. It's not mine. And I want to gift myself with grace. Yeah, grace. Myself. Yep. Now you. What do you want to get rid of first in this space?
Like doubting.
Okay. So doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get rid
of that.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to gift yourself with this week?
More love.
More love.
Hey. Love, girl.
Love. Oh, thank you so much for being here.
Much, babe.
And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.